G'day, ZiggyD here, and in this video I want to take you guys through my Ranger build that I've been theory crafting for Onslaught, which I'm about to roll in under an hour actually. I plan on rolling this new Ranger with my friend Duked, who I've played with before and I've had a couple of videos with before. And we're going to be rolling Onslaught as a duo. We're going to have builds that complement each other in a few different ways. We're going to try our best to push through Onslaught. Now, I'm going to try and record this as a bit of a educational playthrough, and hopefully, depending on how that turns out, I'll bring those out to you in a series of videos, maybe, maybe one every day or something like that, depending on how it goes. Because, as I've said in the past, I don't really like doing the Let's Play thing so much, but I really want to give a more stream-like but educational experience to you guys. So we're going to do this series, and we're going to explain how we progress through, and also a lot of you guys have been asking me for like guides on how to play with a buddy really well, and how to make builds that work together. So hopefully this will help for you guys as well. So firstly, we'll talk about the build he's rolling first. He's sent me through his build, which if you're going to be creating a build yourself, it's a good idea to communicate with the person you're going to be playing with. So he's going to be rolling a Summoner Witch who also uses flame totems for bosses and things like that. It'll be like a flame totem with knockback or something like that. So he'll be running dual curses and minion instability and a lot of good minion jazz. I believe he's also planning to do it as a low life energy shield based character, so he can run a lot of auras as well. So we'll see how that works out in Onslaught, but it could be quite good. So with that in mind, I didn't actually have to change my plans too much actually, so that's pretty good. But there'll be a few things that my planned out build will benefit him. So I'm going to play a pure evasion based ranger, bow ranger this time around. Quite a few of you guys asked for that. I've tried to make pure evasion work in the past on rangers, and it's always been just not quite there. But since these recent changes, I'm much more confident that I think a pure evasion based ranger, bow ranger, can make it happen. I think it can make it happen. So I'm going to be trying to do it in this. Now I'm either going to be rolling split arrow or Ice Shot as my main skill. Now, there are a few advantages to each. The advantage to Split Arrow is that it won't get me kicked out of groups like Ice Shot will, because any of you guys who have been in a party with someone using Ice Shot will know if you're on a lower end computer, Ice Shot will destroy your frame rate. Pretty much whenever it hits stuff, it puts that little ice effect on the ground, and yeah, it causes FPS. DPS, eh? It does do good DPS to your FPS. So yeah, so that's one advantage to Split Arrow. The other advantage to Split Arrow is that it has a built-in kind of lesser and then greater multiple projectiles effect. So you get 2 additional arrows that start, and eventually all the way down to 5 additional arrows, which makes it a fairly decent AOE sort of skill, like a crowd, quite good against groups. Now the damage effectiveness is only 80% compared to, although Ice Shot has 100% damage effectiveness, you have to use it with less than multiple projectiles if you want it to be a grouped-based skill. So with less than multiple projectiles, you get 30% less damage. So Ice Shot plus less multiple projectiles ends up being less physical damage than Split Arrow does. However, Ice Shot also gives you this physical to cold conversion, which, since I'm going to be planning this build out as a physical based ranger, physical conversion based ranger, that could work out to be quite a fair bit. Like 40% fizz to cold is quite a lot, as you've seen from my Infernal Blow Marauder using that mechanic to its fullest to give us a lot of extra damage from the conversion there. So that's another good one. An advantage of Ice Shot is that it gives you that ground effect that really slows enemies down a lot. Doing some maps recently with chilled ground effect and getting stuck in that, I know how much of a slow it actually is. It's really good CC, and with an invasion based character, and also going with someone who's also doing summons, it could be really good crowd control on top of the extra crowd control Duke will be providing. So yeah, a bit of a decision between these two. I'll probably test both as I go and see which one I decide on. Whether I want to destroy people's frame rates, or whether I want to go Split Arrow and be a bit nicer to them, but maybe not be quite as good on the CC, but we'll see. The other thing I'll be using is Blind. Now I'll be attaching this to a totem of some description. Last time I had pretty good success with a Split Arrow totem with Chain, and I think I'll probably roll that again, though apparently flame totems could be pretty good for that. I quite liked split arrow because it has really good range on it. Now blind will work really well, not only for me because it makes enemies almost unable to hit me as an evasion based character, it will also help Duke's summons, his minions, by making sure that enemies can't hit them either. You know, not quite as effective since most minions aren't evasion based, they aren't pure evasion minions, but they'll also be occasionally getting grace from me, so they'll have that extra evasion from grace, and with blinded enemies and possibly even enfeebled enemies if we go to this next one, maybe the minions will never die. We'll see. That could be a nice one to add. It will add a lot of survivability to most minions, I think, from, you know, attacking based enemies. It won't do so much against spellcasters. But yeah, we'll be running Enfeeble. Now, normally as a solo build, I would run Enfeeble myself, but however, since Duke is doing a dual curse build with, you know, curses that never expire, then I'll probably be getting him to cast Enfeeble for me, since it's going to be much more powerful. And then I'll keep Enfeeble aside for myself if I ever do some solo content. But Enfeeble and Blind, both crucial to this build. So let's jump into the passive tree and have a look at what I've planned out. Now, the range of changes are pretty nice, so I tried to take advantage of quite a few of those. Firstly, we get our evasion and life nodes, which is fantastic. There's life nodes here, that's just so good. We come in and get finesse, which gives us attack speed. We're going to be getting quite a bit of attack speed, but also the dexterity shouldn't be, you know, that shouldn't be ignored, because having 350 dexterity gives us a lot of extra evasion rate. I think it's 2% per 10 dexterity if I remember correctly, so it ends up being quite a lot. Might be more than, I can't actually remember the exact figure, but it ends up being quite a lot from 350, so that's pretty good. Also, increased accuracy rating. This is going to be an accuracy based build, so we need a bit of that, so 20% here is pretty good. We'll come up through the mana nodes because we will be running mana and not blood magic, and go through ballistic mastery here for extra projectile damage. We'll come through aspect of the eagle and we'll pick the crit nodes up here. Notice I'm not getting the crit multiplier. I'm going to be avoiding as much crit multiplier as possible while stacking as much crit chance as I can. I want to freeze enemies. I want to, you know, I want to do a little bit of extra damage, and I want to refill my surgeon's flasks. But I don't want to destroy myself to physical reflect. So crit multiplier will be something I'll be avoiding until I'm absolutely confident that I can pick it up. So we'll be getting plenty of life, as you can see here. Also, we've got the evasion and life nodes here. Revenge of the Hunted also gives a bit more physical damage. Pretty nice nodes, so we'll be getting all of those. And then we'll be coming over to this side highway here. We'll be coming through the frenzy charges, actually. And we're also getting the intelligence charge there, but we'll be coming through the frenzy charges, and we'll be picking up all of the frenzy charges as well. So there's another one down there, and another one here. Now, another thing to notice just here is if we zoom in, bam. Evasion per frenzy charge. Now with 7 frenzy charges, that ends up being a nice boost to your evasion, so that's a really nice node to get. Now we might be getting these crit strike nodes here. If I need to drop these for some more survivability, I will do so. I'm not afraid to drop these ones, but they are very good nodes. And potentially there are other crit nodes we can drop as well, like these 2 here if we want to drop those and maybe, you know, get a few extra points that way. Now we'll be coming down to Ondar's Guile, which pretty much makes you immune to projectile attacks. Pretty good stuff. I've tested this out before on an evasion character with about 45 to 50% evasion rate, and Ondar's Guile, you never get hit by a ranged attack. You can stand there for like 5 minutes and you'll just never get hit, so it's an awesome node to have when you're an evasion based character. Yeah, skeletal archers, any sort of archer, not gonna hurt you, not gonna hurt you. Now we'll be getting the new and improved acrobatics, which now, instead of removing all armor and energy shield, gives us only 50% less, which is still quite a big hit, but we'll be able to, that means we can use granite flasks for a bit of extra physical protection, which might be nice against reflect mobs, and also we can put an evasion suffix on those as well, so that'll be pretty good. And obviously the improvements in phase acrobatics for a bit of extra protection from spells. Now we'll be ducking up into the range area and getting this 2% mana leech here. I believe this is the only 2% mana leech node on the tree, so it'll be quite fundamental to powering our build long term, but also getting these evasion and the elemental resistance nullification here as well. And there's some nice crit chance here. This one has crit multiplier on it though, so we might need to drop that later on. I'll test that and I'll see how I go. But ducking through here, we get thick skin because it's fantastic. We want to get as much life as possible, and accuracy. As I said, we need accuracy. I think this cluster plus the accuracy from finesse here. Does this one have accuracy as well? 20%. Yeah, we might not even end up needing this. We'll see. It depends on how much accuracy I can get on my gear. But with very high dexterity as well, we shouldn't have any accuracy problems. We should be able to hit 90 to 95% pretty easily. So that'll be pretty good. Strength nose just to support skills. Now I think pretty much any pure evasion based build needs to get at least these 3 evasion nodes here or these 3 evasion nodes here to be able to get enough evasion. I've got the build summary over here. If we duck down to evasion, this is Exile Pro by the way. It does have some builds on it, but they're all out of date, so it's pretty good to use for this build summary tool though. But in terms of evasion, we have 168% evasion rating. I wouldn't recommend any evasion build based on my prior testing, of course. Could be different now. Enemies' chances to hit have been lowered compared to before. So before I wouldn't have said go under like 150 to 160. Now I'm probably going to say, you know, maybe you can go a bit lower, but we'll start off with this and we can drop some if we're feeling very confident. But that's pretty good. So I highly recommend pretty much any pure evasion build needs to duck in and get some of these in some way, which would be nice if we were going to get Iron Grip, but since our strength is only 100 tops, that won't be too much benefit to us, so we're not going to bother with that. Next one, we'll duck into the duelist area, get leather and steel for move speed and more evasion. Oh yeah. And then we'll come through, we'll get some attack speed on the way. Brilliant stuff. Plenty of attack speed now. And mana regeneration, this node here, might be crucial, might be useful. We can drop that if we decide that our mana requirements are not quite that necessary. And of course, the last Frenzy node. I forgot to mention I'll be using Frenzy as a single target DPS skill, I believe, and running the Hatred Aura since we're mana based. As you guys probably saw in a recent video of mine, pretty good stuff. It'll give us extra cold damage. Now, combined with all of this crit, we should be freezing stuff all the time and refilling our surgeons fast all the time as well, giving us lots of nice survivability. Evasion should see us with this much evasion and with dodge, we should take less than less than 1 hit in 10, maybe less than 1 hit in 20. But with blind and enfeeble up, it'll be like less than 1 hit on 100. So it'll be like we very, very rarely be getting hit. Now, the thing about evasion is obviously you do need enough life to be able to take that occasional hit. So we have, if we go up to life, we have 144% and 22 max life at the moment. I'm not fully confident on this amount. I would like this to be closer to a 180 or, you know, of course like 200. But hopefully with the new changes, this will be enough. We only need to take 1 hit because essentially the way evasion works is it's very reliable. When you take 1 hit, you know you're not going to take another hit for a certain amount of time, basically, or a certain amount of attacks. So once you take that 1 hit, you have enough time to pop a flask, an instant heal flask, or use life gain on hit to heal yourself back up to full instantly to take that hit again. The only problem will be if we do get hit by like a cold ground slam or something like that and and die straight away. But that's the risk. That's the risk. This will be what we're testing. We're kind of still, you know, evasion still isn't very tested, so maybe this will provide some good data for you guys at least. And it should make for an exciting series. If we do end up recording this, you guys will be able to, you know, watch me not take any damage at all and just be waiting for that moment when I get one shot. We'll see. Hopefully that won't happen at all. Hopefully I've planned this out in a good way. I'll link this in the description below. Feel free to make any suggestions or anything like that. And this probably is not final at all. Like all builds, I'll be changing it as I go. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.